We're going to be talking about the different creative and event grants information that we have through Mornington Peninsula Shire. So I'm going to start by doing an acknowledgement. Mornington Peninsula Shire acknowledges and pays respect to the elders, families and ancestors of the Bunurong people who have been custodians of this land for many thousands of years. We acknowledge the land on which we meet is the place of age-old ceremonies, celebrations, initiation and renewal, and the Bunurong people's living culture continues to have a unique role in the life of this region. The Creative and Events Grant information session today, we will be covering community placemaking grants, creative community grants, event partnership grant, homegrown events grant, Mornington Peninsula Arts Festival grant, outdoor dining activation grant, business online initiatives grant, new business support grant, business continuity planning and expansion grant, community support grant, and flexi grants, and mostly looking at these grants in the context of the creative community that we have on the Mornington Peninsula. First, we have community placemaking grants, and I'll hand over to Tracy Lee for these.
Thanks, Kim. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. It's a really good turnout, and we're really excited to connect with you again online and take you through some of our current funding opportunities. And we're really excited about supporting and developing some really great projects for the rest of this financial year. So I'll start with the placemaking grants, which have supported a wide range of projects since about 2014, and many of these projects have been creative placemaking, which is why we're providing you some more information about it today. Placemaking is where community groups lead a project or a program working collaborative with the Shire and the community. And they're projects that increase community resilience and volunteer capacity and contribute to more vibrant communities. So we've got funding for up to $10,000 per application for community groups and non-profit organisations for this stream. And some examples of what's been funded in the past through our placemaking grants are some yarn bombing, murals and public art. So a recent mural project was the one pictured, which is the Arthur's Seat water tank mural by Michael Leeworthy. We've also funded the lighthouse lights on the Macrae Lighthouse. So any kind of startup initiatives or public spaces, public art, connecting community also is covered under that grant stream. For example, choirs and other creative activities that enrich kind of social connection opportunities. And I'll go on to the next one, creative community grants. So our creative community grants have actually been running since 2012, and we're really happy to share that this year the funding pool has been increased to 150,000. And since its inception, this grant stream supported over 80 community projects and has invested about $500,000 into our community's creative and cultural projects. So the creative community grant is to support projects that encourage arts engagement or the development of creative activities that increase community participation and opportunities for local groups. But it's also now an opportunity for individual creatives to develop work and increase creative engagement either with community groups or in open spaces to build creativity and vitality in our communities. This year, funding is up to $10,000 per application, and it's available for non-profit groups and creative sector individuals. So for sole traders, community groups and community organisations. And we're really excited to receive some creative applications that are quite edgy and diverse and inclusive. Some recent examples of things we've funded through this grants program include a screenwriting mentorship program, some choir workshops, and the Peninsula Studio Trail exhibition. Southern Voice Studios was also supported with an exhibition. So there's a wide range of creative and cultural projects that are eligible under this grant stream. Can also include theatre, dance, exhibitions, etc. So we're really happy to provide you the links online that include more information about eligibility and guidelines for these. And we're also happy to talk through your project ideas through your questions at the end. Thanks.
Thank you, Tracy Lee. Now we have Steve talking about the event partnership grants and some other events and festival grants.
So we've got 4 brand new event streams event grant streams, I suppose, available now. This has come out of our relief and recovery work that we did this year, where we've basically allocated $350,000 of relief and recovery funds to support the growth and restart of the events and the arts and culture sectors as well. So the first one is the event partnership grant, which is a total pool of $100,000 or 2 grants of $50,000 each to attract signature and major festival producers to present some large-scale tours, festivals and events on the Mornington Peninsula. This stream is open to commercial arts and cultural organisations, commercial concert promoters and event producers, non-profit groups and social enterprise as well. And the outcomes that we're really looking for are events that can positively contribute to the cultural landscape of the Mornington Peninsula and offer programming which is innovative, accessible, inclusive and culturally aware. We also, given the fact that this is COVID relief and recovery based, we're looking for events that can generate increased economic activity and employment opportunities for the local event sector, arts sector, local business and allied industries as well. We also really see this as an opportunity for cultural tourism and anticipate that these events will, not only re-engage the local community, but also drive some cultural tourism and visitation to the Mornington Peninsula to really help to showcase our local creative community. And the other kind of component of this is we really just want to bring our community back together in a positive and meaningful and COVID safe way. The next one is the Homegrown Events Grant, which is $125,000 to support new and existing events with measurable community outcomes. So grants of up to $5,000 will be offered to event organisers with a really high level of flexibility in the way that these funds can be utilised to mount existing or develop new festivals and events. The intent, again, is quite broad, but this stream is designed to be spent on a range of outcomes such as production, programming and OHS elements, including site infrastructure such as marquees and staging, cultural inclusion, including welcome to countries and cultural safety initiatives, disability inclusion, and of course COVID safe initiatives such as fencing and barriers and seating. This concept was partly seeded during consultation with our community around the music plan, where a number of festival and event organisers told us that extra $5,000 would allow them to invest in experiences and infrastructure that didn't directly sell tickets, but did increase the overall experience of patrons by making events more inclusive or safer, or allowing them to book emerging artists to perform. We also obviously know that event organisers are expected to incur additional costs around COVID safety. So this will allow them and you to invest in things like COVID safe plans, temporary fencing, site infrastructure to better manage crowds, and to pay COVID safe marshals, which we understand to be a requirement as well. We also know that there's just generally less sponsorship money around, and a lot of our existing events do rely quite heavily on local and small business. So this stream is really projected to help to make up that shortfall as well. We also are working on the development and delivery of the new Peninsula-wide Arts Festival, which is very exciting and slated to be delivered in autumn 2022. Details are scant at the moment, but we're very much looking forward to giving you some more information about this shortly. So this is a stream of $75,000 geared towards the arts community to develop shows, events and presentation outcomes for this proposed new festival. There's effectively 2 streams within this, the first being $50,000 or 2 grants of up to $25,000 to support the development of significant works from the local arts sector, and that can include performances, exhibitions and medium to large scale events. The second stream is 5 grants of $5,000 for community programming designed to showcase townships. and foster that kind of collaboration, creative collaboration, and participatory outcomes for community. And examples of this could be like a shopfront exhibition program, a historical walking tour delivered by a local historical society, or a music program. And we've got a lot of incredible underutilized spaces down here, so we'd really encourage you to think of it from that perspective as well. And finally, the outdoor dining activation grant. So over the course of this summer, the Shire is developing extended outdoor dining programs across the townships of Mount Eliza, Mornington and Rosebud. Some of these, particularly Rosebud and Mornington, to complement the road closures in those areas. And we really wanted to build a program that can incorporate more arts, culture and creativity and community activities into these streetscapes to in turn increase the vibrancy of these townships over the summer months. The proposed activities, can include live music, public art, temporary art installation works, interactive and participatory workshops and initiatives, and community activities that are really designed to enable visitors to these business areas to experience our local arts and culture sectors in a street setting. And this idea was kind of born from a music program that we delivered in January this year in partnership with Robin from Music on the Hill, who I think might be here too. And we just found that program was just so well received by community that we thought we'd expand it, make it competitive, and really encourage a bit of a depth of talent from across the peninsula to participate in this.
So now I think it's Anne-Marie talking about some of our business grants that we think would apply to the creative community.
Yep. Hi, everyone. So the business grant stream is really aimed at sole traders and small businesses. And these grants are looking to strengthen your resilience and build capacity as we sort of still navigate through the COVID economy. And with the Business Online initiative, this is support for online social media initiatives and the purchase of e-commerce software, if that is applicable. So if you engage professional services for website development, design upgrades, hiring someone to write your website content, this might be a grant which may be of interest to you. There is up to $3,000 available for this application. So we can move on to the next slide. Thanks, Kim. The new business support. So this is really to assist those that are thinking of establishing a new startup, or those that are actually quite fledgling or struggling, I guess, with the COVID economy. And again, up to $3,000 is available with this particular application. And grants could be or applications could cover if you've engaged someone to write a business plan or looking to establish a new business. And the business continuity planning, again, up to $3,000 is available in this particular grant. And this, again, if you're engaging professional services where you've sought business and financial planning advice, if also you're looking to expand product or diverse your business, or if you've engaged someone to develop a marketing strategy for you. With all the business grants, the part of the criteria is that you must have 20 or less employees or FTE equivalent, and also have an ABN, and then each grant will have specific criteria as well. Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. Next we have Nadine.
So community support grants this year has a funding pool of $150,000 with a maximum of $5,000 per application. The program provides funding to assist with development of programs or activities or projects that contribute to improving health and wellbeing of people in our communities across the peninsula. Some previous examples were mental health programs or education workshops, some equipment to assist with a program that's relevant to the program outcomes, and such as buddy benches for the men's shed, and they do bike restoration for school kids as well. So things like that is what we've previously done. For the opportunity for creatives, the community-based creative projects that encourage connection and public space. So the program is really looking for collaborative groups to come together. It's only applicable to community groups, not-for-profit community groups. We're looking for them to come together, but perhaps engaging creatives as well to do something in that public space. We're looking to support activities in a public space. And next is Flexi Grants. Flexi Grants is open all year round, opens on the 1st of July each year and open until the funds are exhausted. So usually closes off in May, June the following year. It's a maximum of $1,000 and it's a quick response grant. So usually funding is within 3 to 4 weeks from application. Again, it's looking for some collaboration if possible, but it's to give a one-off seed funding for or some assistance towards some of the things that are listed on the screen there. The assessment criteria for this one, though, is a little bit different to others as well. Organisation has a limited capacity to self-fund. It's got to benefit more than just the user group who's applying. It should be benefit to the community, the wider community. It can be used for training volunteers, but those volunteers are obviously going to be then working within the community. So yeah, they're $1,000 each. That's it.
A good example of what was funded through the Flexi Grants recently was the logo and branding development for the Peninsula Culture Collective.
Yep.
As a new startup community organisation.
Yep.
So that's the end of the presentation part. So I will stop the recording here, but we're going to start having a look at if anyone has any questions. Before I go, Nadine, could you just touch on what some of the other programs that are available at the moment that we haven't covered today? Talking about other.
Yes, so most of them, so on the 4th of October, we opened quite a few, like there were 9 programs that opened. Coming up, as per the slide that we just saw on the business continuity, that opens on the 25th of October. Mm-hmm. We do have placemaking opens in February next year. And so does the accessible business improvements. So that's available for businesses who need to or would like to do some improvements to their business for accessibility of all abilities. And that could be website improvements for the disabled sector that need assistance with those type of things, or it could be a physical improvement to a building so that sector can get in easier. Okay. We've also got some climate and environment grants that are opening up again for BioLinks for single-use plastics or to reduce single-use plastics and for climate action.
Great.
So at the moment, that's what's happening. There will be some new programs developed prior to the new financial year. Mm-hmm. So some of these grants are only for this financial year as part of the COVID recovery. They won't be repeated, but some will in another shape or form continue next year.
Great. Thank you so much, Nadine.